Hello world. Welcome back to another episode of the Tell Me About It podcast, the TMAI podcast, where we are going to learn to unlearn or al revés. So, or al revés is a Spanish word that means or vice versa, meaning we are going to learn to unlearn or unlearn to learn, right? My name is Tanya, your host, and I am definitely excited to be here. Sasa, this Thursday, I will be giving my insights that I received from this book called If, written by Mark Batterson. Trading your if only regrets for God's what if possibilities. If, written by Mark Batterson. And today I am going to be talking about muscle memory. But before I get into it, may God put these words in the right ears at the right time. So, definitely I'll be reading from my journal. And hit that subscribe button, tap on that notification bell so that you'll be the first person to be notified whenever I upload videos. Let's get into it. Muscle memory. So I'll give an example. Obviously, I will give a simple example of riding a bicycle. Once the skill is learned, it is never forgotten. Okay, so that's muscle memory, definitely, and it is a procedural memory stored in your brain anytime you repeat a muscle movement. Okay, it is a procedural memory stored in your brain anytime you repeat a muscle movement, whether it is playing basketball, playing baseball, riding a bicycle, playing violin, playing guitar, swimming, performing that dance routine. Yes, the muscle memory becomes stronger every time it is repeated. Okay, just like a foreign language or martial arts, like the author quoted in the book. Spiritual disciplines have a learning curve. I mean, everything has a learning curve, right? Everything has a learning curve. It has a learning frequency. So you only become fluent if you keep practicing. For example, we often feel like we aren't fluent in prayer. Your first prayer will probably look like a Spanish class 101. Of course, God will still listen to it. Atakama, it sounds like gibberish, So, sometimes so like imagine you are in a Spanish class, right? And it is your first day in that Spanish class, and then you become so frustrated and angry at yourself because you have not yet mastered the whole syllabus here. And imagine it is just your first day in that Spanish class. Unakasirika kwa sababu hauja learn, and I mean learning takes time. It takes time. Of course, learning is a process and it takes time. And the more you repeat something, the more it now sinks in you, right? So, oh, I loved this chapter. I really did love this chapter. So, you have to grow in the spiritual disciplines little by little. For example, those people who are new to fasting, I mean, it is advisable that you start with missing 1 million a day. And of course, when you're fasting, do not forget to pray, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be on a hunger strike. You're going to be fasting, you're missing a meal, but you're not praying. That is hunger strike. So it is advisable that you start with like miss 1 meal a day, and then the next time do 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then after that, you can now move from 1 day to 3 days to 7 days to 14 days to 21 days. No, pole, repetition, slowly by slowly. Yeah. So the more you just keep doing that, slowly you'll be building your fasting muscle. Okay. Yes. And definitely the more you practice something, the more you become fluent in it. It's the same way that you being in Spanish class 101, it's going to be different from you being in Spanish class 301, because utakuwa umetoka from course 1 to course 2 to course 3, so you're gonna be fluent pole the more you practice it, right? Yes. Also, let me explain another spiritual discipline. Also in quiet time, spiritual discipline. You start with 10 minutes in a day, just be quiet. This time, do not speak, let God speak. So that is the essence of quiet time. Yes. So this time around, let God speak. And let me not lie, hey, probably the first few days he's not gonna speak back. So usichoke kwa sababu haja speak back in the first few days. The key is, the more you practice, the more you become fluent in it. You cannot become fluent in quiet time when the first few days God doesn't speak back to you, and then you're like, hajaniongelesha mimi sasa siwezi rudi hapo, nitakuwa na kakafala. No. The more you practice, the more you become fluent in it. Right? Okay. So, keep practicing, manze. Keep practicing. You will definitely hear his voice at the end. Repetition is learning, and that is what I call making decisions against yourselves. Hey, now let me tell you about making decisions against yourself. Like for me, I admire the likes of these people who accurately quote Bible verses. Kwanza unapata mtu amekaa tu hapo, unakaka kidogo, and then anakuotia Bible verse exactly the way it is in the Bible, and you're like, show off. It is not show off. This person had to make a decision against themselves and do what? Read the Bible. He had to read the Bible. He had to memorize that scripture. And you know how much it takes for you to memorize something. Hey, they memorize that scripture. And then now they shine it by, speaking it. And you become jealous because they took their time. They really took their time. You come at these people who play violin, or these people who play the keyboard, or anything that is performed art. These people who are good at dancing ballet, they dance with their emotions. These people they made a decision against themselves. They definitely had to put in more practice hours. When people are coming to practice at 7 p.m., they get in at 4 p.m. They use those hours to just practice. The more you practice, the more you become fluent in that particular thing. You have to make that decision against yourself, Manze. You have to make that decision against yourself. So, my question is this. What if you made that decision against yourself because you are just one decision away from a totally different life? What is that thing that you need to make a decision against yourself? You want to become the best performing dancer, but you do not want to put in the hours of practicing. You hutaki kwenda rehearsals. You are just one decision away from a totally different life, Manze. Yes, you are. You are just one decision away from a totally different life. So, jiulize hiyo swali. What decision do you need to make against yourself? What decision do you need to make against yourself? Tupatane comment section. Mniambie, ni decision gani hiyo that you need to make against yourself? Okay? So, Manze, I loved this chapter, and I could not wait to tell you about it. Do not forget to follow the other social media platforms of the Tell Me About It podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. See you next Thursday with another video.